Not so much in terms of why it might be beneficial for jiu-jitsu, but what's very similar about them is it's this struggle. It's a shared struggle.
Yeah, definitely.
You get through the workout, you feel like you're going to die. You don't die, you survive. And that is in that simple exchange of thought I was going to die, didn't, here I am, is great happiness.
Yeah, the intensity,
like
relief. And
yeah, it's like when you do a comp class or something and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then you don't die.
But the problem with CrossFit is the poor harder mentality. Now, some people might look at it as good if you're an office worker and you do nothing and you're like, this is what I can do to express intensity. That's great. But if you also do jiu-jitsu, if you're already like strangling people, they're strangling you, you're getting rinsed there, and then you go to the gym and you're getting broken down there, for me, what I see in this is just like it's very easy. Like, you know, the classic saying is if you got a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And if you're someone who likes to work hard and go hard, you're like, I go hard at jiu-jitsu, so I go hard at CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen this firsthand that this was actually a bit of a mistake. So Michael Lange, who is a 3-time world champion, before he won his 3rd world championship, I was in Brazil, I was training with him. They were doing CrossFit.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, because there was a CrossFit box around the corner. One of the guys who was a brown belt in the gym owned the box, and they didn't really have an S&C program. So they're like, well, jiu-jitsu's hard, CrossFit's hard, makes sense.
Yeah.
Just CrossFit. But they're doing a lot of kipping chins. I can't remember what workout it was, but it was like kipping chins, rower, it was like a K as fast as you could, and then you had to run a certain distance and back. And you had to just, as many times as you could in 20 minutes or something. It was terrible in terms of how it made you feel. Michael, being the competitive guy he was and also being a bit of the alpha dog, he didn't want to lose that. So he tore both hands doing kipping chins.
Ripped skin.
Yeah, just ripped. Like
classic CrossFit badge of honor.
Oh my God. And look, if you've ever torn, a callus on your palm from deadlifting or anything else, you know how sensitive that is. Now imagine you've done all 4 parts of your palm, right? Like each major knuckle of your hand, you've torn that. Michael Lange was famous for his spider guard. He couldn't close his grips or his hands for like weeks. So that's then held up his training massively. And this is the major drawback I see is like, even though it can bring out this intensity and it can create all these amazing athletic qualities, it doesn't complement jiu-jitsu. It kind of conflicts with jiu-jitsu. That's my take on it.
Yeah. So I think like in terms of the physical trauma from the training, it definitely conflicts.
Yeah.
And we have to respect that's the part of jiu-jitsu too, right? Is there is trauma that's associated with it for on your body. And that's why we're so big on like having a practice outside of that, doing some strength training, some stretching that helps to alleviate that trauma and help it to repair and for you to be less affected by it next time.
Yeah. Whereas
CrossFit, it's like double trauma. So you get jiu-jitsu trauma and then you go to the place where you're like, oh, I'm doing my strength and my flexibility work via CrossFit.
Yeah.
No, you're going into another room full of trauma.
Yeah.
And it's like then you're just digging the hole deeper and deeper. I mean, I think in a perfect world, if you were able to, I don't know, had some miraculous recoverability, then potentially it could work, right?
Juice. You like juice? I love the juice.
Yeah, juice would work well. But most of us don't. Here's the way I view it is that you only, like playing a sport, we've used the analogy before of collecting firewood and burning firewood.
Sure.
And playing a sport is burning firewood.
It is.
And jiu-jitsu is burning and CrossFit is also burning.
So,
so you end up, like I think what you see often is that a jiu-jitsu person will find their way to a CrossFit gym because whatever, it's convenient, or a friend said, hey, you'll get in shape if you come here. And they're instantly drawn to it because of that intensity.
Sure.
They're like, man, this is awesome. I've never felt so fit. And it's probably true. Like your results in that way are probably going through the roof, but it usually doesn't last longer than like 3 months.